Pub players around the world rejoice as the murder rate increases. Every game has a lifestealer, and the rise of global heroes. All this and more on tonight's episode of The Meta Report. Hello everyone, this is Donnie aka Elevated, back with another episode of The Meta Report for Dota Alchemy. It's been a couple weeks since the initial release of patch 7.21, and a few things are starting to settle in about how Dota 2 is currently being played. Last week we discussed the rise of the Hand of Midas to combat a lack of creep gold on the map. And this week we're going to discuss the other and perhaps more exciting side effects of the reduction in creep bounties. It's been quite some time since the days where hero kills were the most valuable objective in Dota 2, and while we have definitely evolved past that notion, at least in the competitive level, to favor towers, barracks, and, actually ending the game, it's not too much of a logical leap to conclude that if there are less neutral gold sources, players may need to look to other forms of gathering income, namely, killing each other. Last week, we also talked about how early pushing lineups may be even stronger due to the lower overall net worth of most heroes in the early game. And that is certainly a viable approach. Let's be honest, however. If we can simply fight our way to victory, every single pub player out there will be more than happy to adopt such a philosophy. There is more than just a bit of supporting evidence to support this theory. Between the restructuring of kill bounties to favor lower net worth heroes fighting their way back into the game, and the removal of the gold buyback penalty to reward the risk of hurling extra bodies into a fray just to win it. Could it be that an all-out war of fighting and killing heroes might just be what Dr. Icefrog is prescribing for patch 7.21 and beyond? Maybe it's even in preparation for the imminent release of the God of War, Mars. That would be rather fitting, wouldn't it? If we look at the current competitive meta, there is a definite trend towards fighting and brawling heroes. Low cooldowns, high stats, lots of crowd control, and heroes that are great at setting each other up for ganks are very much in vogue. Lifestealer, Ursa, Phantom Assassin have all clawed their way to the top of the heap as carries, and Razor is storming back into relevance in response. It's really the supports, however, where we should look to determine where the meta might head, as the position 4 and 5 tend to dictate the pace and enable the direction and style of the game that will be played by the cores. Sure enough, Shadow Shaman, Leshrac, Bane, Oracle, Keeper of the Light, Nyx Assassin, Elder Titan, and Undying have all had a huge amount of success in this brawl-heavy style of Dota. Maybe the most telling of all has been the massive increase in picks and supremely high win rate from support Nature's Prophet. In a meta where fights seem to be breaking out all over the map, it must be pretty nice to have a hero that can immediately show up and contribute both control and damage. Furion is currently the most flexible pick in the professional scene and has been run in all 5 positions within the last week between MDL Macau and ESL Katowice. The preeminence of Nature's Prophet highlights another highly valuable trend in the meta: global heroes. Dota has gotten a whole lot more aggressive over the last couple years, and there are just so many things to fight over these days. Between bounty runes, deny gold, tower bounties, and even securing jungle control in the new elevated jungles where having map control is extra valuable, teams and players seem to be scrambling to put out fires and create their own pressure at the same time. So what better heroes to accomplish this task than those that can be in 2 places nearly at the same time? As a result, it's not that surprising to see a hero like Chen, who acquired the ability to globally recall heroes in patch 720, to suddenly be one of the most contested picks in the professional scene. Remember, this is a hero that everybody said was dead because he was no longer able to take over all of the big creeps in the jungle and simply run down people. Chen is a hero that has pretty much been based around having creeps since he was added to the game in Dota 1, and so it's definitely weird to see him not prioritizing that style of play. And yet it makes total sense to see Chen being picked and banned a huge amount because he has an ability that used to be Keeper of the Light's ultimate or require an Aghanim Scepter to be able to use all the time. That is how good being able to relocate your teammates is. It allows you to literally be in two places at once, accomplish two things, whether it's split pushing and then fighting, whether it's ratting and then defending your base. This is why a hero like Io has been first pick, first ban forever. This is why when Spectre is strong, she is one of the most difficult heroes to shut down, because you can literally be farming forever until a fight happens and then you're just immediately there. This ability is unbelievably strong, and that's why a hero like Chen, like Nature's Prophet, and other heroes like Ember Spirit and Spectre have suddenly seen a huge spike in both their pick and win rate since patch 7.21. Speaking of farming until you fight, efficiency is at an all-time premium because any gold lead is much harder to overcome just by farming now. Clearing waves and camps quickly is of extra importance, which usually involves using spells, so be sure to always pack some consumable regen like clarities, salves, and mangoes to make sure you are fight ready at all times. There's nothing more disappointing than picking a high uptime hero like Ursa, Tiny, or Pangolier and spending half of your time walking to and from the fountain to refill your rapidly depleted resource pools. With all this fighting going on, we have seen a lot more tri-lanes, and we will likely see quite a bit more roaming in the future as well. The dynamic nature of the new meta is definitely a nice change from the static 2-1-2 laning experience we have been stuck in for the last year. That being said, the mid lane is still one of the most difficult ganks because of the close proximity of the towers. However, we have seen a lot of mid laners pushing the wave and jungling the nearby medium camp to accelerate their farm. This could definitely create better opportunities for smoke ganks from aggressive supports. As it stands, the meta is far from being settled and will continue to be shaken up as teams experiment with different ways of approaching the new Dota 2 landscape. An unsettled meta tends to lead to more chaos, and out of the chaos it tends to be the heroes and players that fight best that rise to the top. Whether you are capitalizing on track gold, racking up 20 plus assists per game on heroes like Nature's Prophet and Spirit Breaker, or simply snowballing an early advantage with ability-based power spikes, if you like to fight, the future is looking awfully bright. Hello everyone, and thank you for watching the video. We genuinely appreciate your time and attention spent with us here on the YouTube channel.